Welcome to our senior secondary biology series. This video is a continuation of the previous video in which we discussed transport across the cell membrane. So in that video, we discussed three modes of transport across the cell membrane. The first was diffusion, which was the movement of particles from low concentration to high concentration or down a concentration gradient. The second was osmosis, which was defined as the movement of water molecules from high concentration to low concentration across the selective permeable membrane. The main difference between diffusion and osmosis is that osmosis is a type of diffusion, but osmosis involves the movement of water molecules, and also it has to do with movement across the selective permeable membrane. The last mode of transport we discussed was active transport, which was defined as the movement of particles or molecules from from low concentration to high concentration using energy derived from ATP. So in nature, it is easy for particles or molecules to move from high concentration to low concentration as compared from low concentration to high concentration. Active transport tries to push or to make molecules or particles move from low concentration to high concentration. Diffusion and osmosis are called passive transports because they don't involve energy. Well, this active transport involves energy. Energy must be added or must be provided to make the molecules move against a concentration gradient or to move from low concentration to high concentration. So, how does active transport occur? Where does the energy come from? So from the definition, which says the movement of molecules from low concentration to high concentration using energy derived from ATP. The energy comes from ATP. What is ATP? How does this energy come from ATP? And how does this energy help in moving the molecules or particles against the concentration gradient? That's what we're going to discuss here. So let's say we've got a cell. We can picture this as a cell membrane and this as a nucleus. Then the ATP molecule looks like this. Of course, this is not the actual way it looks, but this is a simple representation or the simplistic representation of the actual ATP. So we have got one side which is called the adenosine group, and also these three rings here or three groups which are called the phosphate groups. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. Tri means 3. So this can be read as adenosine 3-phosphate. The 3 represents these 3 phosphates group here. So whenever you hear ATP or adenosine triphosphate, you should remember that there is an adenosine which is connected to 3 phosphate groups. So how is energy derived from ATP? Let's say we have a molecule or a particle that has to be moved across the cell membrane against a concentration gradient. What this means is the concentration here is lower as compared to where it is going. The concentration here is high. So if this has to be moved, what happens is the ATP is going to be broken in the process, releasing energy, and the energy is going to be used to move the particle or molecule. So once the ATP is broken, there are two byproducts, or it results into two things. The first, of course, as you can see here, is 1-phosphate group, and the other one is the same ATP but without 1-phosphate group. Remember, ATP, the T is for tri, which means 3. So if we say triphosphate, we mean 3-phosphate, but there are 2 phosphates here. The suffix that is used for 2 in science is di. So if 3 is to tri, then 2 is to di. So one of these products, its name, it's adenosine 2-phosphate, which in science it's ADP or adenosine diphosphate. So this is how energy is derived from ATP and how the energy is used to move the molecule across the cell membrane against a concentration gradient. As a summary, so we have ATP, which is a molecule made of 3 phosphate groups. Then when a molecule is about to be moved, the ATP will be broken, in the process releasing energy. The energy is going to be used to push the molecule to move against the concentration gradient. Once the ATP is broken, it's going to result into ADP and 1 phosphate group. So this is how active transport occurs. This marks the end of this video. Check out for the next video, which is an interesting video about enzymes. Happy solving!